Okay, so in today's AutoCAD 2022 demo, we're going to learn how to save a file where we want to have it saved, and we're going to set up a template file, which is not an official template file. It's actually more just a file that will have all of our settings kind of saved in. But it's a good starting off point for any drawing. It'll have all your line types and all of your settings, most importantly, ready to go. So let's start off by saving this file because it'll make finishing this up a lot faster. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our A in the upper left hand corner, and we're going to click Save As. And we want to find where we're going to put this. I'm going to put this in what I call my demo folder. And I'm going to pretend like this is my student H drive, okay, which would have your name on it. And I'm going to call this template. And then we'll click Save. Now, before I click Save, what Save As does is it creates a copy of the existing drawing. Okay, so once we've clicked Save As and we've created our template file, we can actually read it right at the top. We can see where it's saved. So it's in my C drive under my name, documents, demo folder, H drive demo, and template. So now we can start setting up our settings, and at the very end we're just going to click the quick save button, which is just the single save, not save as, because we don't want to make another copy of our template file. So the first thing we want to do is set up our tracking settings. So down here in the lower right, again, we've talked about this in previous videos and lessons. Let's set up our polar tracking first. I like to just kind of leave it at 45, 90, 135, 180. For our first drawing, though, we are going to have it at 15, 30, 45, 60. We'll adjust that in that demonstration. Most important thing we want to adjust is our snap cursor. It's like the square with the little secondary square there. We're going to click the drop down there. And we want to make sure we've got a few things checked off here. Endpoint for sure. We definitely want midpoint. That's to highlight the middle of a line or arc or really any geometry. Definitely want center on. That's how we find the center of a circle. I don't really use geometric center. Sometimes it's useful. Again, these are easy to turn on and off. Quadrant is extremely useful. That's how we click the extreme left, right, top, or bottom of a circle. And then lastly, tangent is extremely useful. So we'll have that one highlighted. Extension and intersection, those are good ones to have too. So once those are checked off, we just click off of there, left click. So that setting is ready to go. Next, we're going to set up our layers. Now this is on the cover of your packet. Pull this over here because I have it pulled off to the side. So a box like this will pop up. This is the Layer Properties Manager. There's a lot going on here, but we don't need to delve into absolutely everything. If I make this box a little bit bigger, you'll see that there's a lot of different options here for each layer. Our default layer is the 0 layer. We can't change that. We're just going to leave it there. You see the light bulb is turned on. Freeze is a sun. If we click on freeze when we don't want to be able to use a layer, it will turn into a little snowflake. If we want to lock the layer, meaning we can't make any changes to anything that's on that layer, the lock will be closed. Right now it's unlocked. And plot, meaning if we want this layer to print, we can have that setting. Then things like color, the line type, whether we want a hidden line, a center line, etc., and then the line weight, the thickness of the line. So now we're going to add a new layer. So we're going to click on New Layer. So that's the one with the little kind of yellow-orange star. And we're going to call this first one Object. We want it on, we want it unfrozen, we want it unlocked, we want it to plot. Color. You can make these colors really whatever you want. And again, this box would pop up. It's just on my other screen there. I'm going to make things bright and obnoxious because that works really well for demonstration purposes. So I'm just going to make this magenta. Our object lines are continuous. It's a single solid line. And then our line weight is going to be 0.7 millimeters. So we're going to scroll down a little bit to 0.7 right there, and then we'll click OK. Alrighty, our next layer we're going to call hidden. Same thing, we want it on, we want it unfrozen, we want it unlocked. We're going to change the color. Again, going to make my hidden lines something kind of bright. Let's do like a light blue. And then we want to change our line type. So let's click on continuous, our hidden layer here. And now you'll see there's no other options here. We actually need to load in new line options. So that opens up another box. So we're on box 3 here. We're going to scroll down in alphabetical order to hidden. Regular hidden, not hidden 2 or hidden times 2. Then we'll click OK, and you'll see that hidden's an option. While we're at it, and you could do this when you're doing the center, but let's load in center, that way it's an option for us. Now, we'll select hidden, because that's the one that we're making our hidden layer here. We'll click OK. You'll see that's adjusted, and it matches our name. And the last thing we want is our hidden lines are thinner lines. So we're going to make them 0.3 millimeters. Okay. And then we're going to add another layer, and we're going to call it center, and kind of repeat that process. Again, we'll change the color. I'm going to make this, let's go with like a green kind of color. Ooh, hopefully that shows up on screen okay. We'll see what it looks like. And we'll change our line type. So we'll click on that. We'll set it to center. And then we also want that to be a thin line type as well. Now, there's 2 more line types you could add. If you wanted to kind of end this now, you could. But I'm going to add the other 2. That way this is recorded in this video. One is going to be dimension or dim. Okay. That's going to be a thin continuous line type. And really it can be like whatever color you want. I'm just going to make it some kind of yellow or something like that. We want this to be continuous, and we'll leave it thin, the 0.3 millimeters. So, and then last but not least, I want to make one called construction. This one, we're going to turn off the printer on it, so it has this little red mark through it. And I want to make it something kind of obnoxious in terms of the color, the way I know to really delete it. Let's see. Let's do like a bright pink kind of color. And then we want that to be continuous. And then just for some insurance, we're going to make it 0.00 millimeters. Okay. This is just a layout layer that we're going to use. We don't need to, we don't want it to be part of our final drawing. All right, so we can close that. I also like to just kind of test out my layers. So we're going to, the way we switch layers is we're going to go up here to our layer toolbar, and we're going to go to object, and I'm just going to try and draw something as object layer. There we go. I like that. So now we're ready to save it. So we're just going to click the quick save, or we could click under A and just click save. And now we have our template file done and set up. We've set up our tools over here in the lower right, our tracking, and we've set up our layers. They're ready to go. Again, they're all there and available to us, so we can switch between them easily. Everything is done. So again, make sure you just click that quick save, and now you're ready to move on to drawing your drawings.